Oh yeah, yeah, buddy. Well, we need to fix that. Woohoo! We've got a nice looking UI started. So much more to go, but so much finished already. Looking good. Loving it. Hey everyone, I'm Jamie, and I've been coding for over 20 years, and this series proves you don't have to be perfect to build something cool. We're building a simple data-driven 2D game engine and editor step by step. The idea here isn't speed or polish, it's clarity. Every line we write should make sense before we make it fancy. Today, we're building out a real editor interface with resizable panels, a toolbar, hierarchy view, and all the pieces you'd expect from a proper game editor. So grab a coffee, sit back, and let's keep building this thing one solid piece at a time.
Spreading knowledge, one byte at a time.
All right, welcome back. Last episode, we built the entity component system. We created the world class that manages entities, components, and systems, and we learned that an entity is just a number, a coat hook to hang data on. Components are small bags of data like position, velocity, and shape, and systems are logic that acts on that data every frame. We hooked it all up so our square isn't hard-coded anymore. It's an entity with components being processed by systems, same visual result, completely different architecture under the hood. So that's where we are now. We have a workspace, a renderer, an engine loop, an ECS. We can spawn entities and watch them move around. But here's the thing. Right now it's just a canvas with some moving squares. There's no interface, no tools, no way to interact with what we've built. It doesn't look or feel like a real editor. We're going to build out the editor UI layout with resizable panels using react-resizable-panels. We'll create a toolbar on the left with tools like select, pan, move, shape, an entity tool. We'll add a hierarchy panel where you can see and manage entities. We'll build controls, assets, and inspector panels that will house future features. And we'll implement a GameProvider using React context to centrally manage game state so all our panels can access the engine, the renderer, and world without prop drilling. By the end, we'll have an editor that looks and feels like a real tool. The panels will be resizable, the layout will be professional, and the foundation will be set for adding actual functionality in the future episodes. This is the episode where it stops being a tech demo and starts to look like software you'd actually want to use. So let's dive in. All right, so we're going to build out the UI. This is going to be a bit of an undertaking, but instead of typing everything out, I'm going to do a lot more pasting of the work that I've done and explaining, because it's a lot of Tailwind CSS and a bit of redundancy. So instead of going through all of that individually, we're just going to break things down so we can get through this a little bit faster. GitHub will have everything, so you'll be able to follow along as well still. So one thing I do want to do, we're going to go into our components. We're going to go to core. We're going to take everything. We're going to take everything out of this editor and delete it. We're just going to make this the app. Seems like a better solution there. That's fine. And we're going to get rid of these things here. We're no longer going to need them. Same thing with this. We'll add the canvas ref back in a moment. So one thing I need is a external library or package. We're going to say bun. Let's get into the client first. CD client bun install or bun add React resizable panels. This will make it easy for us to create resizable panels for our UI. So one thing I'm going to also do is go into our folder in the UI and we're going to create a resize handle. So the resize handle is going to take advantage of the panel resize handle from React resizable panels, and then it's going to take two icons, depending on if it's a vertical divider or handle or a horizontal handle. First thing we do is we pass in a direction into our resize handle, and depending on that, we set a boolean of is horizontal, and then we style things differently. So our panel resize handle is going to be styled thin for horizontal, and tall for vertical, thin for horizontal and short for vertical. And then we're also going to check if it's horizontal, we put a vertical grip. If it's vertical, we put a horizontal grip. That's essentially all this is really doing. So then if we go into app, we can start laying out the skeleton of our editor. So first thing we'll have inside of here is our div. Then we'll have another div, class name equals width, full, height, full, I believe, flex 1, flex, and overflow hidden. And then we'll put some comments in here. This is where our toolbar will go. And then we'll have a panel group. Direction for this is going to be horizontal. This is going to be the outermost panel group. Then our first panel is going to hold the hierarchy. Default size equals 20 and min size equals 10. So I'm just doing this first section and we'll paste the rest. Hierarchy. And we need to import this. Import panel and panel group from React resizable panels. And then after this panel, this is where we'll put our resize handle with a direction equal to horizontal. And then the rest is just, I'm going to be changing a bit of it just so that it works. We don't have the inspector. So let me actually just wrap these for now until we get them made. And then we can show the canvas ref now. Controls, assets, inspector, hierarchy. Panel group. Panel. That should be good there. Div. Panel. Did I close the panel group? Yeah, that panel shouldn't have been closed there. There we are. So that should be good. So one thing I do want to change too. So this is just going to get the structure of our editor. We don't have any actual panels yet. One thing I want to do is create a new folder called providers. We're going to create a game provider. So this is going to be GameProvider.tsx. And essentially, we're going to import that use game, and then we have a type of game object that we need to create. So in that hook, we're going to go to where we define our square. And we're going to define a game object. It's going to have the add square, the FPS, and the renderer. And this renderer can be null as well. So that's what this is going to return from now on. Game object. Which means we've created an error. We need to come down here. And we need renderer to be equal to rendererref.current. There we go. And then now we have access to that to use in the game provider. So first thing we do, we create our context. Then we're going to create a nice helper function called useGameContext that gets the context. And then we're going to have a provider, and the provider is going to have props. It's going to have children, so props with children. And then it's also going to have a canvas ref, which is a ref object of HTML canvas element or null. And then we are going to export game provider, taking in the canvas ref and the children. And then this is where we get to use that hook again, our use game hook. The difference is that's going to be the value of the provider. So if we look here, we're going to return game context.provider, setting the value to game, and then passing the children. That'll give everybody, everyone who consumes with the use game context hook will be able to get access to that single use game hook that's used here. So then what we need to do with that is come in here and import it. Game provider. And we need to wrap everything in that. Game provider canvas ref is equal to canvas ref. And we just wrap everything in that. And now all of the children components will have access to the game provider, the use game hook essentially, and what it provides. And they just need to import use game provider or use game context. All right, first panel. Let's do the toolbar. Toolbar is going to import quite a few things. A lot of icons, really. So we'll come into, we'll delete this core here. We'll come into our components, add a new folder, editor. new file, toolbar.tsx. And we are going to need to create a new component as well for this one, but it's going to be simple. So these are just React element, use memo, use state. These are, simple things we all know about. And then a bunch of icons. And then this lattice logo, that's the name that I'm going for the engine. So we will take and throw the lattice asset in here. Let's also throw it in public. That way we can use it in the HTML. Let's create in the UI. Actually, we'll create this folder, icons. Where's components? Icons is going to have the lattice logo. And that's just going to import our icon and use the class names utility so that we can pass we can get access to the logo and pass in any extra classes we might want. It just wraps an image with a div that's styled so the image is in the center with a bit of padding. Fairly simple. So toolbar is also going to have a tool type. We need to import. So tool type is just a string of select, pan, shape, entity, move, or code. And then we're also going to define a tool. Tool is going to be an object with a title, a shortcut, type of tool type, either one of these strings, an icon, which will be one of these icons, and then an action, something we do when we click on the tool. So we're going to, we're going to create the toolbar now, export default toolbar. So we're going to create a use state of active tool and then a way to set the selective tool. Then we'll create handle select tool. So this is what will run whenever you click on a tool. It's going to take in a tool, which we know has a title, so we can console log that for our own purposes. And then set selected tool, obviously, is of type tool type, which is our type property. And then tools have actions that we can call. So we'll just call the action there. It may need to be a bit more in depth, but this should be fine for now. That means that we will create an array. So we'll use memo here with no dependencies. And it's going to return an array of tools. So I'll show you what one of those looks like. Return So we have our select tool, a shortcut, the type, which icon we're going to use, and then an action that is empty. And that's really going to be all of these. They're all similar, just different icons and shortcuts and such. So that will define it so that we only have to return when we get to our icon section, we only have to return the map and define the button one time. So first thing we'll do is we'll create the outer divs, and that lattice logo goes on top, and then followed by our definition. So right afterwards, we're going to we're going to run tools.map, and we're going to map out what a tool looks like in our JSX here. So we're going to create a button. We'll first do this. Return. It's going to be a button. Key is going to be the type. We destructure the type there. OnClick is going to run the handle select tool, passing in the tool, which is why we didn't destructure it up in the top of the function. And then we're just setting some styles. If it's the active tool, we set the text color to white and the background color to blue. And then lastly, we will have a title, which will be title with the shortcut in parentheses. Then inside of here is where we put our icon. And we close our button. And then lastly, underneath the buttons, we're going to have a div that takes up the remaining space, and then at the bottom we'll have a settings button. So we can come into our app here. Let's import that. Components/editor/toolbar. Restart the TypeScript server. Let's see, components, editor, toolbar. Oh, I threw it in UI. There we go. Bun dev. .5173. So we have our tools off to the side here. Cool. Next one we'll do this hierarchy. So in editor, we'll create a new file called hierarchy.tsx. All right, so we're going to create a new utility function. This is just copied from the interwebs. I didn't do anything special, to be honest. I'm not trying to figure out how to create random colors. So first thing we do is we're going to get access, export memo hierarchy. We're going to get access to add square and the renderer. We'll use that inside of a function that we're making. That function is going to be called handle add square. And all this does is it will check if we have a renderer that we can actually use. And if we don't, we just return. Then we're going to set size to a random number between 25 and 75. Speed is going to be max speed's 20 or 200, minimum speed's 20. And then we're going to set its X and Y in a random position within the screen. That's why we're getting the renderer here, so we can get the width of the renderer. And then you subtract the size so that we don't, it doesn't spawn past the borders. Do the same thing for the X and Y. We're going to set the size on the width and height both to size, and then generate that random color. Velocity is a minimum speed plus a random number times max speed minus minimum speed, which gets us a number between our minimum and maximum. And then finally, we just add square, passing in that square, and then as we console log for funsies. Next, we will return our actual structure. So this is the styling for the outside of it, as well as the wrapper around our heading. So in the top, we're going to have let me see, where am I missing something? Export defaults. There we go. So yeah, we're just styling the containing divs so that they match the style of the rest of the editor. We have an H2 that's letting us know the title of the panel, and then we have a button to the right side of that heading section, and that is just a button that says that has a plus icon, and when we click it, it calls the handle add square. And then we also have a body section that we will fill out eventually. But for now, it's just going to have a default text saying no entity yet. Click plus to create one. Eventually, this will be filled with our entities once we get that capability. So if we come back into our app, we can import the hierarchy, import hierarchy, from app components, editor / hierarchy. Now what? Toolbar is declared but not used. Let's take a look. All right, there we go. She's working. Let's create the new one, a new file. We'll call this one controls.tsx. This one's really simple. We import the play icon, and then we are going to return a transparent background here on this one. Export default controls. And this is just going to have a single button for now. And that's going to be a play button with the word launch next to it, and it'll be translucent as well. And so we should be able to add that one. Import controls from @components/editor/controls. That goes where our controls were. There it is. And it's actually over top of the canvas. So as you see, these go behind that button and you can see them. All right, next is our inspector, assets.tsx. Assets, we're just using some icons for now. And essentially, I'm just going to paste this entire one in. It's simple. We have the top header like we did before. We also have a button that is a folder. It does nothing right now. And then we have the main body section, which has 2 icons and then some default text saying no assets yet, and import images, sounds, scripts, and scripts here. So again, this is a lot of Tailwind stuff. You can just take a look at the repo. We will add that. Import assets. And we can uncomment that out. Now we have our assets panel down here, looking nice. And then we have the inspector. The inspector is also really small. It's going to be very similar to the other panels, obviously. We have the inspector heading, and then we have the default panel. If we look at the hierarchy, if you see the return of hierarchy is essentially the same as this inspector here, but we don't have a button up in the top there. All right, so let's import the inspector. Import inspector. There we are. So yeah, this is just getting us set up. We're going to wire everything in and start being able to actually interact and create components, and we'll fix the resizing. Everything should be nice. We can actually change our buttons here. And we're getting things ready for when we can actually start interacting with our game state. All right, let's recap what we just built. We implemented a complete editor UI layout using react-resizable-panels with 5 main panels: toolbar, hierarchy, controls, assets, and inspector. We created a GameProvider using React context to centralize game state management so any components can access the engine, renderer, and world without prop drilling. And we built out the visual structure and the interaction patterns that make this feel like a real editor instead of just a tech demo. But here's the thing. Right now, most of these panels are just UI. The toolbar buttons don't do anything yet. The hierarchy shows a plus button, but it doesn't list the entities we've created. The inspector is empty. We have the structure, but we need to fill in the functionality. So next episode, we're going to start making the editor interactive. We'll populate the hierarchy panel with a real list of entities. We'll make entities selectable so you can click on one and see it highlight. And we'll start building out the inspector panel to show selected entity data, transform, position, velocity, shape, all the properties. That's when this editor becomes a tool you can actually use to build and debug games. From there, we'll add more tools, selecting, moving, creating shapes directly on the canvas. We'll add keyboard shortcuts, undo, redo, and all the quality of life features we expect from a game editor. But all that builds on the foundation we just built today. Oh, and before I wrap up, I just want to say thank you. We just hit over 5,000 subscribers, and that's incredible. When I started this series, I didn't know if anyone would care about watching someone build a game engine from scratch, imperfections and all. But you showed up, you watched, and you subscribed. So thank you, truly. The community interest is what makes this series worth making. Let's keep building together. If you're following along and want to see where this is going, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment with what features you want to see next. The repo link is in the description. Clone it, break it, fix it, open an issue if you find something better. This is a learning project, and I want to hear from you. All right, that's it today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's build.